In this episode, you'll discover what weight on the feet means in rowing and sculling, how it's a key transition point in the stroke cycle, and the giant advantages which come to crews who can all get there at the same time.
Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're talking about one of the 4 key concepts in rowing and sculling that take you from being an intermediate level athlete to being advanced, to being in control of your boat, to handling and managing all of the different parts, the hull, the oars, and your own body. Weight on the feet is a really critical concept, which can be somewhat hard to understand how to do. And so we're going to talk today about how to do it, how to locate it, the transition that it leads to, and what happens as a result. So what are the things that you can do after you've learned how to do weight on the feet? Firstly, slide control. You will learn how to stop rushing. And more than that, you will learn how to move your body sitting on the seat, on the rollers, in time with the hull. The hull is moving forwards toward the bow, obviously. You are moving towards the stern, and how to ensure that those two are compatible and aligned, and you're not moving faster on the slide than the hull or slower. Secondly, you learn to slow down the boat speed less on the recovery. Many people forget that rowing isn't just about the amount of power you can put through the water that obviously accelerates your boat. It's also about the amount that you slow the boat down on the recovery before you take your next catch. So a boat movement in a sine moves like a sine curve. So you accelerate through the power phase, and then the boat slows down through the recovery phase, and then you accelerate again. If you slow down less, your average boat speed rises. Once you have managed to master weight on the feet, it leads you into several other areas, and I'll tell you at the end what those are, so what you can expect to get more skillful at as we move forward through from weight on the feet. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to locate weight on the feet. It's not that easy, and so what I'm going to do is demonstrate this to you sitting on a hard chair. It's important that it's a hard chair. You want to sit forward on the chair. And the first thing you're going to do is take your 2 forefingers, put them under your bum, and feel for your sit bones. This is the ischial tuberosity, and it is the bony part of your pelvis that you should feel sitting down into the chair when you are on a hard surface. And I want you to actually put your fingers underneath that. It'll hurt a little bit. Now, when you've done that, your first job is to rock backwards and forwards. And I want you to do this with a straight back. And if you are doing this correctly, you should be moving your pelvis. Your pelvis should go from leaning backwards to leaning forwards. You're actually moving the entire bone structure. And if you do this correctly, when you've got your fingers in that position, you should feel the bony part rolling on and off your fingers. It's like these are my fingers, it rolls over the top and then back, so it clears it. If you just curve your back to lean forwards, you aren't moving your pelvis, and you won't feel that movement over your fingers of your sit bones. Okay, now take your hands away and try and make the same movement, and still feel that hardness of the seat, and you should be able to feel the bony parts move. Now, if you can make that movement correctly, you're well positioned to be able to get to weight on the feet. Weight on the feet is very similar to standing up. So I'm going to hang my hands by my side here, and I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to sit down. And you'll notice that I lean my shoulders forward in order to stand up. And as I begin to stand, I can feel pressure through my socks, through the soles of my feet, into the floor. That is what we're doing in the rowing boat. We're putting pressure through our feet. Now, our feet, of course, are further away from us because our legs are extended at the finish of the stroke, and our feet are roughly at a 45-degree angle on the foot stretcher. But you can still push through your feet at certain parts of the rowing stroke. And in order to push through your feet, you have to get your body mass forward and your hips pivoted. So getting your hands away and your body over is what your coach will have told you. And you'll notice that my shoulders are now forwards of my hips. I'm leaning forwards. And if I then bend my knees a little bit, I can probably feel pressure on my feet. Now, the reason that the leaning forwards is an important part of the sequence is just like the standing up, where I lean forwards before I stand up. If I try and stand up while I'm leaning backwards, it's incredibly difficult to do. And you're obviously then using a lot of extra muscles in order to make the movement. So one way to help you feel weight on the feet is to clench your bum. Tighten your glutes up. So this is me with loose glutes. I want you to watch the line of my shoulders. And I tighten my glutes, and it looks like I've sat up a little bit. Like that, tight, loose. So at the finish, tighten your glutes. That helps you to locate your sit bones on the seat. And as you straighten your arms, when your arms can't straighten anymore, your shoulders naturally follow, and you get to a point where you feel like you can push on your feet. And you may find that point is at quarter slide, it may be at half slide, it's a little dependent on your own personal flexibility and mobility. But you have to get your shoulders forward. If you're the sort of rower who comes off the back with your arms bent, and then your shoulders come forward, and then you straighten your arms as you come out to the catch, you will find it harder to locate the pressure on your feet than if you sequence with your arms followed by your body. Okay? Now, getting to the point where you feel like your feet can really press against the foot stretcher, maybe here at half slide, that is a really key transition point in the stroke. Remember that tightness in your glutes. You might want to think of it as if you're trying to hold in a fart. Everybody's done it. Clench, which that helps you also to hold your tummy in as well as clenching your glutes. And that gives the connection between your back and your legs. So your glutes are like a hinge, a door hinge, and they join your back and your legs together. If they are soggy, you don't get the connection, you don't get the transition of your body weight forward as successfully because they're loose and relaxed and they're not engaged. So, well done. You now know how to feel for weight on your feet. Now, I mentioned that weight on your feet is an important transition point in the rowing stroke cycle. And it is the moment where you move from tension to relaxation. And you stay in relaxation until the oar goes in the water at the next catch. And so at this transition point of weight on the feet, your body is in the catch angle. Your deep relaxation starts. You have very loose muscles in your legs, and your handle grip is also very relaxed. And you're at a point where you can remove all tension from your body. If you've ever wondered how elite rowers work so hard and manage to go at such high stroke rates and high intensities, one of the reasons is because they give themselves extreme relaxation. They really turn the muscles off when they're not needed. So it's like clenching your fist and then letting it drop. Clench and let it drop. And because they really relax, they don't get tired so quickly as less experienced rowers do. So at this point, with weight on the feet, your oars should be off the water. You should be in a high balance position. By that, I mean that the oar shafts are very nearly horizontal, and you could be square blades, you could be feathered blades, and you are controlling the blades with your hands. And your control of the oars and your body, those two things work together, mean that you're then in a position to really relax on the slide and to prepare early for the next catch. Now, weight on the feet is one of the 4 key concepts that we teach in our sculling intensive class. Weight in the hand, weight on the feet, body weight suspended, and work through the pin. If you want to learn about the advantages that come to you when, particularly if you're in a crew, all of you can arrive at this point simultaneously, go and watch Richard Parr's recent masterclass, which is called the From Frustration to Flow. In it, he teaches the 4 quarters method, where he breaks the stroke cycle down into 4 quarters. This transition to weight on the feet is one of the critical quarters, and it is one of the key things that he demonstrates with video evidence of how it then makes the person in the boat move the boat better and achieve greater boat speeds and greater relaxation. Once you can handle weight on the feet, you will be able to do 3 things better. And these were the things I mentioned at the beginning. The first is to better prepare for the catch, for the blade entry. Secondly, you will be able to further control the balance of the boat on the recovery. And you will then manage weather such as wind and waves much, much better because of the control that this gives you. I hope that this is giving you good things to think about and something to try during. Till next time.
We are part of the RowingChat podcast network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.